Hello guys, EzraTime again here. Welcome back to another movie review. And on today's video, I want to review a movie called Tekken, which is obviously a live action adaptation of the Tekken video game franchise. And I decided to review this movie now because, leading up to Tekken 8, which is going to be released this Friday, which I'm kind of hyped to be honest. Again, I'm not exactly a Tekken player, but I'm actually pretty hype for the story and just the story alone, not like the gameplay stuff because I'm not exactly a fighting game guy, but I do like the fighting game story because I think sometimes there are, wild and unpredictable, and sometimes they were completely crazy. And I think Tekken is one of the story that remain consistent in the main game, but also like has some crazy stuff. So I thought that, well, I must well review the movie. Like I think this is not. I don't think anybody really care about the movie, but I think it would be. I think it's interesting for a live action Tekken movie, because I watched this movie and it was quite boring to be honest. But there is some redeeming part about the movie, at least in my opinion. So the movie itself is directed by Dwight Little, and it was written by Alan B. McElroy, which is the duo that directed Halloween 4: The Returns of Michael Myers, which is like, yep, they directed that movie. And I know that, and they got the job to direct the Tekken movie. And I think interestingly enough, the producer Stephen Paul actually wanted to make this movie since like 2002 or something like that, but obviously there is many problems with the scripts, and the direction for the story and the characters. Even Jackie Chan and Jet Li was supposed to be, in this movie. I don't know which character they were playing, but I think that would be interesting, to see Jackie Chan and Jet Li on the Tekken movie. But again, sadly, that did not happen because of I think because of the budgetary reason. So we got this movie, which looks really cheap, for a $30 million movie. So it tells a story for Jin Kazama, where he lived with his mother, Jun Kazama, and then they live in a place where a mega corporation run by the Mishima family, like Heihachi Mishima and Kazuya Mishima, basically run the city. Like the entire city has like this big tournament that's going on in the background, but there's also like the outside of the city. You could say that, where everything is run down and it's dirty, and then basically the Mishima corporation controls everything. And yeah, I think for the story itself, it was, I don't know, like I think the premise was okay, but even then, it was boring by the time you get to the end of the movie. I'm just like, okay. Like I think everything about this movie is too serious in my opinion. Like there's probably some jokes here and there which I don't remember to be honest, but for the most part, it is a serious movie, and I think it's a style from the early 2000 movies, where you get some other video games adaptation where they're going too serious about the stories and the character that it just doesn't really work. Like I think Devil Jin or Devil Kazuya wasn't even in this movie. Which, to be fair, if they were in this movie, then they're probably going to butcher that. But at the same time, I would love to see some reference to that, and as some ridiculousness of the plot of Tekken in this movie. I mean, this movie is called Tekken. It's a Tekken movie, so I think it should be ridiculous and over the top, but they didn't do that. Or they didn't even try to do that. It's just like, okay, like it's kind of disappointing and boring. All I would say this, the good part about the movie is actually the fight scene, because I think the fight scene is pretty well directed for the most part. I love Lateef Crowder the most. He plays Eddie Gordo, and there's also another thing about the movie itself, where some of the characters that you see from Tekken and transfer into this live action form was actually pretty good, at least in my opinion. Some of them are pretty good, some of them are like not. And I think Eddie Gordo is the perfect one, and they even got Lateef Crowder to place Eddie Gordo, and Lateef Crowder, if you guys don't know, is an expert martial artist. He appears in a Tony Jaa movie called The Protector. He also appeared with Scott Atkins in Undisputed 3. So he's a really good martial artist. And then I think he's a perfect choice for Eddie Gordo. Which I think Eddie is also Brazilian, if I'm not mistaken, and I think Lateef is also Brazilian. So like, yeah, I mean, like it's perfect, man. I think the looks is perfect, but sadly he only has one fight scene. And I think even Lateef said himself in the Scott Atkins interview that he actually have 3 fight scene, but because the budget was cut down, he only has one fight scene. He fight Raven, and then Raven won, so I'm just like, oh, that's kind of disappointing, but all right, that's the movie. So the fight scene is good, right? The acting is, I don't know, subpar at best sometimes, I think Kazuya, the character, is probably the worst in this movie because like he's just like a whiny son to Heihachi. Like, oh my god, I don't like that my father owns Tekken, like the king of Iron Fist, I want to take over the Mishima Corporation or something like that, right? And just like, okay, this is not Kazuya character, especially not in the game. Again, I'm not really like super familiar with the story, but I'm well and I pretty much know that yeah, this is not Kazuya's character. Like I think the Mishima family plotline has always been the main plotline of Tekken, so I'm kind of familiar with the Mishima plotline, because I think Tekken deep down it's just a dramatic family drama, right? But they turned it into like 11 basically, So essentially, yeah, I think the Kazuya is pretty bad in this movie. Jin was fine for the most part, but it's also really weird at the same time because he has two girlfriends in this movie. One of them is a random girl, and then the other one is a character named Christy Montero, I think. This again, I'm not really familiar with Christy character, but I think she might have some relation to Eddie Gordo, maybe. Again, I'm not entirely sure, so Tekken fans, you guys can correct me in the comment section, but yeah, she's one of the Tekken character in this movie, and I think it's like, yeah, okay, Jin has two relationship, and it was really weird to see Jin in a relationship because the guy in the game never fell in love with anybody, and I think Ling Xiaoyu is the only one who loved him, so who knows, maybe that's gonna happen in Tekken 8, hopefully, but either way, it's so weird to see Jin actually have a relationship with two women, and they keep showing like the main relationship is about him and Christy, but they keep showing like the outside the tournament, and then where you see this other girl that also date Jin, I believe, and then they keep showing her, and I feel bad for her because like Jin is like, well, like he's two timing you, man. Like I think I kind of feel bad for the girl, but at the same time, yeah, it's super bizarre that they decide to do that for Jin character. It's like, man. And also the other bizarre thing about the character, or like not for Jin, but for Nina Williams and Anna Williams, because they're both in this movie. First of all, they're not enemies like in the game, because I think Nina and Anna was always been enemies in the game, but in this movie they're besties basically because they are working together to assassinate Jin, and they are working directly under Kazuya, which is okay, fine, because sometimes Nina and Anna is like working for Kazuya, right? But they got this bizarre scene in the movie, which I don't know if I can show it, but basically Nina and Anna have sex with Kazuya. Both of them like naked in a bikini, and then they have sex with Kazuya. And I'm just like, what the fuck? This is Nina and Anna Williams? Like, what? Like, they're not known for being that way, having sex with anybody. It's just, oh my god, like that is so weird. Like everything about these two characters is so weird. And it was so underwhelming the way they handled them, both of them, because like Nina has one fight scene with Christy, which is fine, but Anna just barely says anything in the movie. She's just there, like, hey, there's Anna Williams. She's standing next to Nina, and then like, okay, she's not gonna say anything. She's not gonna do anything much in the plot. Nope, she's just there. And then Nina and Anna literally disappear by the third act of the movie. Like literally, they're gone. I'm just like, where are they? Like, where are these other characters? Like, they just gone. Like, oh my god, I guess they're setting up something for the sequel, but still, like, oh my god, like it's so weird the way they handled the two of them, So Jin was handled weird, Nina and Anna was weird. The rest of the characters, sometimes they were fine, like Eddie, like I said, is the best one so far in the movie, but sadly his scene was cut short because he got defeated by Raven earlier in the movie, so that freaking sucks, And I guess speaking of Raven was fine, like I think he's a fine character. He's really nice guy, I guess you could say that. At one point he's trying to help Jin and Christy, and oh, by the way, Steve Fox is in this movie, which I did not know about that, but yeah, Raven is helping them, so there's that. And speaking of Steve Fox doesn't even look like Steve Fox from the game, because when this character first appeared, but played by Luke Goss, I didn't even know that he's actually playing Steve Fox, because this entire time I was just sit here waiting for him to betray Jin, because like I don't know who this guy is, and obviously this guy doesn't look like Steve, because every single character in this movie at least looks like the character, the video game's counterparts in a way. So I'm saying, okay, that's Jin, that's Eddie, that's Raven, that's Nina, that's Anna, like I know them, because they look like the character from the game. But Steve is bald and it's just so different from the game. And I didn't even know it was actually Steve Fox until Kazuya came in the whole thing where he's actually saying, "Oh, Steve Fox," and that caught me by surprise. That, oh shit, this guy is actually Steve Fox. Okay, never mind. He's not gonna betray Jin. Obviously, he's a well-known character from the Tekken game, so there's that. But yeah, they're not even trying with Steve. Like he looks like nothing from the video games. But either way, performance-wise, I think everyone is, like I said before, is subpar. I think it's fine. I think caryhiroyukitagawa, who plays Heihachi Mishima, who also plays Shang Tsung, I think, from the Mortal Kombat movie back in 1995. I think his performance in the first Mortal Kombat movie really influenced Shang Tsung personality, where he says, your brother's soul is mine. Like I loved his heart, when he's playing a character. I think as Heihachi Mishima, the look was like okay, I guess. Like I said, it was identifiable that, oh yeah, that's Heihachi's hair. You could say that. But for the most part, Heihachi is not really it's not the Heihachi from the video game. He's just like there to be a victim to Kazuya, which is like, okay, that's weird. But I do like caryhiroyukitagawa's performance as Heihachi, because again, the man is giving 110% as this counter, and I remember one line in the movie where he said he's about to get executed, and I think he says, I'm Heihachi Mishima, I am Tekken. I'm just like, oh, like I like that performance a lot, which followed by Kazuya saying the iconic line saying, Heihachi Mishima is dead. It's like, okay, that was good. That was the line from the game, so at least they care somewhat. But even then, the entire movie looks boring because like it looks like bland. Like the color of this movie is literally like black and gray-ish in a way. So it's like it's not that interesting. It's not colorful like the Tekken game that I remember. Like it's like, okay, like that was weird. That was kind of a boring decision to have for your movie. So yeah. So again, like I said, so to wrap up this review, I like the fights, the fight scene. I think they were well filmed, for the most part. But the acting is okay, I guess, for the most part, But yeah, that's it. That's literally it, And I guess Jun Kurzama character played by Tamil Tomita was fine for the most part. Like she got killed way earlier in the movie, and then it's and then for the most part she's appearing in a flashback, which is fine, I guess, but besides that, yeah, and also the final fight scene between Kazuya and Jin was disappointing as fuck, dude, because like Jin and Kazuya has been fighting a lot in the Tekken game, like because there's the Mishima conflict, right? That's like the main plot point for the Tekken game, and when they finally fight, in the movie, which is essentially the final fight, it was disappointing, because like for the most part Kazuya is like beating Jin, and then at one point Jin's get up, and then I think he grabs like an axe or something, and then he swing that axe to Kazuya's stomach, and then he kind of like slice it, not slice it open, but like completely slice the stomach, and then after that Kazuya is down, which is just like I'm like, what? That's the end of the fight? Are you kidding me? Like this is like the movie's kind of like building up to that conclusion where Jin and Kazuya is going to fight, but it's so weird where they ended. It's like, yeah, like a slice to the stomach, and then Kazuya is down. And again, of course, we need to be reminded that in this movie, everything is too it's too realistic to the point that it's just kind of boring, and they don't have any devil Jin inside them. So it's like yeah, that's like I think removing the devil Jin's plot point for the movie is a big mistake in my opinion. Again, I don't need to transform into like the demon form, but just reference that, maybe make the Jin and Kazuya's color eye color change, and then basically nodding to the audience that oh yeah, they have the devil Jin stuff, they have the devil power, and if Kazuya has the devil power, then obviously the fight is going to be much longer. But since he's just a normal human, the fight scene was end pretty quickly, and it was quite disappointing that that's the final fight scene. That's how Jin take down Kazuya. I'm just like, man, come on, like it could have been way better, man. Like it's the final fight scene. It's between Kazuya and Jin, which like the big plot point from the Tekken game, and that's how you conclude the fight. Like, all right, like that was quite bad, So either way, as for the Tekken movie itself, I think you guys might find this movie pretty boring. I don't think anybody really seen the movie a lot, but people know that this movie exists out there, and I tried to watch it. It was quite boring, and there is some interesting or like fun fight scene, and that's it. So the fight scene is good. The rest of them are just like boring. It's bad, sometimes. So I'm just like, ah, man, so either way, that's my review for the Tekken live action movie, guys. So let me know in the comment section below, guys, if you guys already watched the Tekken live action. Like, what do you guys think about this movie? Do you guys like it or do you guys hate it? Like, what is your criticism about the movie, and what is your favorite part of the movie, if there is any? So share them in the share any of them in the comment section below, guys. And if you guys enjoyed this video, then make sure to guys Tekken that subscribe button and like button, and share videos and the usual stuff, and again, stay tuned for more videos in the future, guys. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I will see you guys in the next one then. Bye.